Hi guys and welcome back to the Global Chess Championship Finals of 2022. Today it was quite a day. We had an Armageddon match which was really interesting, and it was between Teimour Radjabov and ANISH GIRI, where Radjabov picked the white pieces, and this basically means that he has a little bit more time but just has to win, absolutely has to win the game. A draw is not an option for him. Teimour started with the move d4, and after knight f6 he played knight f3. Not going for c4 right away, and now after g6 he decided to go for this rare line bishop to g5, which is the Torre attack, in which black has quite some options. Now Anish just decided to develop the bishop, of course, and now knight b to d2, but this is some not so usual stuff, you know. Normally white plays with d4 and c4, but okay, it's still a playable line. Now after h6, bishop to h4 and castles, white just played c3. He's playing in some London system style, you know, not going for the whole center right away. But I think that already here d5 equalizes immediately for black, and black doesn't have any problems at all. But okay, he just decided to play with d6. Now of course white has to develop, that's why he plays e3, and now c5 just striking at the center. Anish just takes on d4, releasing some of the tension, and plays knight to c6. Now bishop to c4 and queen to b6, already asking some questions to white, you know, just attacking the pawn on b2, what are you going to do? And he plays queen to b3, defending the pawn, and this is a pretty nice idea here from Anish Giri. He just wants to play queen to c7, threatening knight to a5 at the moment, just attacking the queen, attacking the bishop, also with the queen here. So that's why he kind of won a tempo here by playing queen to b6 and then queen to c7 with the threat. So that's why white has to move out of this attack, and he just plays queen to a3. Now white still has the whole center here, so that's why black wants to play e5 and just strike in the center, get some piece of the center himself. But okay, now white just castles, and now a nice move from Anish Giri, knight to h5, basically putting this bishop here in a quite an uncomfortable position, because we also want to play g5, and then after bishop to g3 we might take the bishop here and also ruin his pawn structure a bit, or we might just play knight f4, or also just moving the king away and playing with f5, grabbing more space on the king side, and black is fine here. He has at least equalized and should be quite happy here with his position. So white here just played the rook to c1, and after g5, like we said, bishop to g3, and now bishop to f5. Not taking the bishop right away, which could be an option for black, but he just decided to develop the bishop and put the knight to f4. And his argument is that this bishop is really bad here, it has no potential, and what are you going to do? I mean, if you take the knight, then we will recapture this with the g-pawn, which also opens up the g-file, which we could use, you know, to build up an attack here. So I think that's our great position for black here, and that's why white just didn't capture this knight immediately, and he just played rook to e1. Now rook to e8, of course, just centralizing the rooks, and now he took on e5 and played knight to e4, getting the knight to the center from where it can do more things than, you know, just from this d2 square where it does nothing. So now rook to d8, and I think black is better here, because first of all, what is white going to do? What is white's plan? He can't even fight for the open file with rook to d1, because we can just take this rook, and now this rook no longer defends the knight, so we can just grab a free piece. So that's why white is already in a pretty bad spot. And I should also mention probably that the players aren't gaining any increment for each move, and that Teimour Radjabov was spending very little time up to this moment with a pretty clear strategy of just getting Anish waste all his time. But this didn't happen. Anish just played like a machine throughout the whole game, so it was really amazing. Now white has to make something here in this position. He doesn't have any great plans, so he just plays b4, trying to create at least something. We see a5 by Anish, a classical response against these b4 pushes, and now queen to b3, just moving the queen to a better square. And now Anish just takes on d4, which gives him a square here on d4 for the knight to jump to, but it also opens up the C file where our rook is. But this is not a problem for Anish. He just says, okay, I will move the queen out of the way and also attack your pawn here on b4. So that's why white just plays a3 and defends it, and now knight to d4, attacking the queen, attacking the knight. Okay, and the knight obviously takes it, and now rook takes d4. Queen to f3 by Radjabov, and now a really nice move by Anish, just bishop to g6, protecting everything, stabilizing everything. By the way, there will also in the future maybe some tricks, you know, with attacking this knight and then just this bishop is on the same file as the queen, it could be attacked. So just bishop to g6. And black has a little advantage here, which really sucks for white because he has to play for a win. He has to win. And Radjabov starts spending more and more time here, which of course favors Anish. And now he plays knight to c5, he has to play something, b6, knight to b3 attacking the rook, but just rook to d6, moving back, and now bishop to b5 attacking the rook, and after rook to d8, white's idea was basically that this queen now is unprotected on the same file as the rook, so we can just take the knight here and take the pawn with the queen. Because if he takes, we can just take the queen, right? And we just won a pawn. Now maybe he didn't have a better option here, or he just didn't see it, but bishop to b2 here just attacks the rook and also the pawn. So after you move the rook, we can just take the pawn on a3, and we have a bishop pair, we have a healthy position, everything is defended, and there's no way at all we're losing this with black. If we're doing anything here, we're winning. So they actually entered this variation, and white played bishop to c4, trying to just take here on f7, but the thing is that black can just take the pawn here and just ignore all this. If you take on f7, just king to f8, and it's a really nice idea because this bishop here will also attack the rook on e7. And yeah, the thing is that you have a threat of rook to d1 check, you know, and then just picking up this rook here. And I was actually watching this live commentary on chess.com, and they were saying that you can basically pre-move rook to d1 check, and it's basically true. Anything that white does, rook to d1 check and just picking up the rook on the next move. Also against king to h2, just rook to d1, attacking this rook, and if the rook moves, you know, then just we can just take this bishop for free. So yeah, you can basically pre-move rook to d1, except if white plays knight to d4, then you can play rook to d1. But okay, let's forget about that. But yeah, white here had to do something, and he just took on g6, allowing rook to d1, and then just picking up the rook. So what happened now? Black is an exchange up and completely winning, but they still played on for a couple of moves. After rook to c4, bishop to d6, having some threats here of a discovered check, knight to d4, which doesn't stop f3 though, so that's why Anish just played it, and Radjabov resigned in this position. It's because the only move is g3, but then just bishop takes g3, a discovered attack here on the knight, we can just take the knight, and this ending with an exchange up and also with a pawn up here is completely winning for black. So that's why white resigned. So big ups to Anish for keeping up with this really great play with the black pieces getting an advantage in the opening. It's really not that easy, especially in Armageddon where you have less time than your opponent. Now I think Anish played excellent in this game, and if you think the same, please share down in the comments. And if you like videos like this or you like some other types of videos, also just tell me. And yeah, that's it for today. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.